Welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel once a week, it chooses the horror movie, and they discuss it. Today, we're talking about the 2020 film The Invisible Man, which was directed by Leigh Whannell. I'm your co-host, Alec.
I'm Eric.
And this is one of the newest movies we've done. I felt weird saying 2020. Like this movie is from 2020.
I'm happy you said that because one of the things I thought of when watching this is a movie. If someone's like, have you seen any good horror movies lately? I think this is the first one I'd say because it's like, I just saw The Invisible Man.
Okay. So we already know your opinion. You liked it.
I liked it. I didn't like, the best movie ever. But no, it's a good new horror movie.
Oh, I did something to myself, man, which I'm trying to stop doing as an adult. But dude, I went into this with very high expectations. I looked at the critic reviews. I'd heard about it. People had said it was good. Dude, I did not like this movie very much.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
So, all right, I want to talk about the positives first. This movie had very good acting, very good special effects, very good choreography. I thought it was well shot. I thought the sets were really cool. The house was awesome that they were in. A lot of good things about this movie. I can see why on paper it looks good. I just did not think that a lot of the decisions made in this movie were justified. I just didn't think that the plot really made sense. I thought that there's a lot of plot holes. It was like everything was good except for just the decisions.
Yeah. What was the Invisible Man's name? Griffin?
Adrian?
Adrian.
Yeah.
Right. Griffin, I think, is from the book too. We don't get to know who he is really.
No, not at all.
We don't he doesn't talk much. We never really get a character development. We just know he's an abusive husband.
Through her eyes.
Genius. Yeah, who's a genius too.
Right. So I was trying to think it's like Elon Musk if he had a 50 Shades of Grey complex kind of. That's how I looked at this. But you're right. We don't know anything about this guy. So that hurt the ending for me too, because I'm like, listen, I want to believe this guy's an abusive asshole. I really do. But we've seen no evidence of this. This could have been Tom, the brother, the whole time doing all this stuff. So then it's like at the end, the only thing that we even get is that surprise. That's supposed to be the connection that he says surprise. And then it's like, all right, well, I can kill him. I was like, all right, I'm on your side, Elizabeth Moss, but there's nothing that proves that he did any of this.
He definitely did.
Tell me how.
I mean, by saying surprise, it's like, because she heard him.
That wouldn't hold up in a court of law, Eric.
True, that wouldn't. But it's also Elizabeth Moss's character knows him. We don't know him.
That's true.
But she knows him. So it's like, I trust her judgment. Throughout the movie, we gain trust with her character. She makes good decisions. She is right most of the time. I think she knows it's him.
There's a good argument for this movie to prove that the brother was doing this the whole time. I'm not saying that this guy's not a piece of shit. I'm not saying that he's not manipulative. I'm not saying all of these things. But
clearly they were working together.
Yeah.
Maybe he made multiple suits. Maybe, which we know that she made one. So maybe both Adrian and the brother, which was what was his name?
Is it Tom?
I think something like that. They both had suits. When he was doing something, she was doing something. Maybe they were both together at one point, and we didn't know. We don't know because we can't see it, but we can assume that is a possibility.
Right. Okay. So all right. So there's things that make me stand out to me that I agree with you. Obviously the way that he runs at the car and smashes his hand through the window. Okay, this guy's crazy. Okay. So I see things like that. They're in this crazy compound that's far away from everything. But the movie starts off, he's got his arm around her. I was like, huh, okay. And then she's scared. She's leaving or whatever, but we don't see anything aside from when he runs to the car. Then after that, it's just we're led to believe it's him, but it could be the brother. So that's the other thing. How did he get in the drywall at the end? He locked himself. He got somebody else to drywall him in there after his brother got killed.
I mean, he's a genius. Don't forget, he could probably find a way to drywall himself in there.
This needs to be explained though, because this leaves too many plot holes for me to be listen, this guy got someone else as a failsafe after his brother got killed. He's like, well, now I got to do plan C, which is drywall myself into the back, hope that this SWAT team comes into this house, which they've already, done a sweep of because it's all shut off, except the dog's in there randomly. But anyway, so they're walking around the house. Now they're like, all right, let's bust this wall down. And they find this guy. That's just too convenient for me.
Yeah, there's that. And if I was Elizabeth Moss, I'd be like, can you check his fecal matter and see if he's eaten in the last 24 hours, like
Sure.
stuff like that. Like, because it's like, did he just come up with this plan now? Because if he did, he's, unless he's been starving himself for a week as a failsafe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's that, but
Dude, yeah.
clearly there is some plot holes, but it's like it's right on the cusp of like, oh shit, like,
Yeah.
oh, like I've had moments like that in the while watching. It's like, oh wow, like, and it's like when she's pregnant, that's when I think he goes even more nuts and takes out his brother, because he's like, I'm not gonna lose this kid and Elizabeth Moss's character, so he like doubles down, kills his own brother. That's what I think happened.
He didn't kill his own brother. Elizabeth Moss killed him.
Right. That's what I mean. Yeah.
But here's the other thing, dude. The way that she's getting thrown around the room, a dude that, like, he's whipping her into tables, like, throwing her
Oh
around the
yeah.
room. Come on. I don't
Yeah.
know, dude. I feel like I don't know. Like, I think there's an argument to say that this was the brother. I think there's an argument there.
Yeah.
I just really I don't know, and I think he could be playing her, being like he's like, "Adrian used to be like this," but then he reveals being like, "Adrian's in on this sort of thing." But that could all be a fucking lie too. There's nothing to prove to us. It's just like the audience has to believe it through Elizabeth Moss's point of
Right.
view. So,
Yeah.
I will say this though, the ending, I really like this about this just in any movie or whatever. There's the truth, what the camera shows, and then like what people hear. Like the
Mhm.
detective, the guy that she was staying with, he's listening. He knows what really happened. But if you were to hear the tapes and you were to see that video, you would think that what happened on camera tape is really what happened. So it like blurs the line of the truth, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, when she's escaping or running away, and he's taking out all these police officers or correction officers
Yeah.
in the hallway, there's cameras everywhere. They're going to look at that footage and be like, "What the hell is going on?" And then her story becomes very believable.
Yeah.
And
Like,
their stories, I mean, not all of them died. I don't think. Yeah,
no.
they all died. They all pretty much died.
No, I don't think any of them did except for the guy that he shot
Yeah,
randomly when he's
yeah,
walking away.
yeah. I mean, so they're going to be like witnesses. Like there
Mhm.
was some within there invisible that got me, but it was a person. You
Dude,
know?
most of those guards, I think the only one that definitely died is the one he shot, and
Yeah.
then maybe the one that got tased for like 10 seconds in the
Yeah.
neck.
Yeah. No, that could do it. That could definitely take you out. But no,
Yeah.
that scene, it reminded me of that Terminator 2 scene where
Yeah.
they really had that feeling to it.
Big time.
That's when the movie took a cool turn. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, the secret's out.
And
He's out. He's out.
I don't dislike this movie because we're more talking about it, but like, dude, it makes you feel like ghost stories, like every ghost movie, it could just be something like this, like somebody just fucking with somebody to the
Yeah.
point where they go crazy, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
there's some cool elements to this. I am not gonna say this is a bad movie, but I think the plot holes kinda just took out the filling for me. I'm like, "This is a pretty cake. It's a good cake." The
Yeah.
inside is just not it's missing something for me.
Right. I get that. I get that. One thing I wanted to say, and I think I told you this, it's more of the camouflage man than the invisible man.
Mhm.
Because when you think of Invisible Man, I think of like the H.G. Wells story where he like is a scientist and like in Kevin Bacon and Hollow Man, they truly are invisible.
Yeah.
Like there's no suit protecting them. They're
Right.
naked and invisible. This guy puts on a suit that has like crazy fiber optic cameras and stuff that make him invisible. So it's like that's a camouflage man.
Yeah, you're right, though, that, like, you're absolutely right. I do like that it changed the
Y-
story, you know?
Yes. Well, it adds so much to the H.G. Wells story. It changes it completely, which is like we're gonna take it, the idea, the premise, add and change and do our own thing, and that's cool. It's not a repeat. It's not a sequel. It's not we know the ending, this and that. I mean, that book is from 1897.
Yeah.
Original film with Claude Rains is 1933. So you got to be new and unique.
Yeah, and I guess Hollow Man was kind of more of, like, a nod to The Invisible Man, where this was more of, like, I guess, a reimagining with modern graphics and updates and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
H.G. Wells is great too. I love War of the Worlds. That's one of my like favorite stories books ever. I even like the Tom Cruise movie also. Like I love that's the War of the Worlds story.
This doesn't have any connection to the Dark Universe or whatever, right, with,
No, I mean I saw looking on IMDb, I see Johnny Depp is credited
Oh,
in
yeah.
this movie somehow. What was that about?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who he
So I saw
was.
that maybe they just like threw him in there with a voice or something. But yeah, the Dark Universe was Universal Monsters' answer to all these Marvel Universe, the DC Universe. Let's make a monster universe, the Dark Universe. Kicked off with Tom Cruise and the Mummy. Wow, said Tom Cruise twice this episode so far. Kicked off with Tom Cruise and the Mummy. Man, that movie sucked.
Mm,
Man, that sucked. Russell Crowe was in that movie. He was gonna be like the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde character. They were gonna really put in some firepower actors in it. Like, Universal monster movies are so cool, and, like, Hollywood actors love those movies because those are, like, the OG superhero movies, like the franchise, like Wolfman meets Frankenstein, Captain America, fights Iron Man. It's like the whole thing back in the 30s and earlier is it's so cool. Like that movie genre that's dead right now, pretty much. But they
yeah.
tried to revive it, didn't go so well. Kind of canned it, but this came out and this was awesome. I think
Was The Wolfman with Benicio del Toro
that
before?
that was before the Dark Universe.
Okay, so that was
There was a Dracula Untold movie too. I don't know. I saw that one too. That one's okay. Does some cool nods. Does a unique story. But so those movies weren't part of the new relaunch of Universal Monsters, the Dark Universe. But yeah, like I said, they kind of moved on from that, and but they're making these movies too, which is kind of cool. But Johnny Depp brings us back to our original point. Johnny Depp was supposed to be the Invisible Man
oh,
in the Dark Universe. He signed on, I guess. I don't know really the whole
huh.
story. So that was
Yeah.
even the credit. I was like, was he in this somehow?
I know, I saw that too. I feel like I'd actually kinda prefer Johnny Depp a little bit in this.
Kevin Bacon, bring him back.
Kevin Bacon. I mean, I feel like this is so different from that one. The only thing I remember about Hollow Man is, like, the way he squeezes her boob when he's invisible, and you're like I was a kid, I was, like, 10, I was like, "What the heck?" Like, it's
I
like
remember the CGI back then was actually pretty good
it was. It
for
actually
the
really was.
time. Was that a '90s movie?
Dude, I feel like that was, like, 2000. I'm gonna actually look it
Wow,
up right now. I was
Google.
way too young to be seeing that because that's definitely
Oh,
rated
I saw
R.
that right when it came out.
Me
I watched that
too.
movie a lot actually
Oh,
growing up.
me too, dude. That movie came out in
I
2000.
watched that a lot. Like that, like and Lake Placid were like the two like movies I would like watch a lot.
Dude, I
But
just remember being like, "I'm seeing the girl from Back to the Future's boobs right now." Like,
Beards. It's all about beards.
oh, I
No,
was
that's funny.
10. I can't believe I saw that movie. Holy
And that's
Yeah,
pretty violent. That's pretty violent too.
yeah. There's a lot of killing and nudity in that movie. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, but yeah, this one, it's a kind of like a classier take, I guess. It was just more like I don't know, not believable,
Well,
but
they added that. I don't know if you've seen like Nicholas Sparks' Safe Haven with Julian Huff. There's a movie, that one that kind of reminds me of that. There's also a Julie Roberts movie. I forgot what it's called. I think it's called Sleeping with the Enemy.
hmm,
Very similar to this, where she like fakes her death and then like takes off and the boyfriend finds her, kind of thing.
mm,
Like those movies, like I just seen so many of them that like I don't know, the abusive husband, like Big Little Lies is another one with the
yeah,
abusive
yeah.
husband.
This reminded me of that.
Yeah, no, it does, right? Like it's like you're never gonna leave me, like attitude, and
Yeah.
very messed up, but very real, and it definitely happens in the real world a lot more than we would imagine.
Right, and that's the thing. I wanna also say, like, I'm not saying I don't believe Elizabeth Moss. I'm not saying I don't believe this guy's abusive. Like, I clearly do. I'm just saying,
Mhm,
like, if you're watching this movie, it's just there's not one thing that actually we see that this
mhm.
guy is actually everything she's saying he is.
That's what's kind of clever about it, but like still, we trust Elizabeth Moss so
Right.
much that we agree with why she killed him and like why she did what she did because it's like she really believes it was him.
Yeah.
I do too, even though you're like, it could be the brother, this and that. It's him. It has to be.
I know,
Like
I
it's like it has to be, but like it's like you're right though. There's that layer of was it? We didn't
I
see
know.
it. We
I
didn't
know.
see it. Beyond a reasonable doubt. Like
I know, I'm just saying I'm not playing devil's advocate here, I'm just saying, like, it's just that's kind of a plot hole for me, I
yeah.
wanted to see something. The other thing is the dog, man, like, she goes back to the house and finds the suit, and the dog's there, like, why is that dog there? Who's been taking care of that dog? Him? They closed the house up?
Man, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, who's been taking care of the dog? How
Weird.
long? How long's it been? Like, it's
A while, d
dog.
at least 2 weeks or a month, right? That's how long it said between when
Yeah.
she escaped and was staying at the guy's house?
And did you ever think of the dog?
I don't know. She's like, "I'm not gonna leave you here," and then that's what sets off the alarm and all that shit, but you're just like, "What? How's that dog been living there by itself?"
I mean, who knows? Maybe it's catching something, but he
Yeah,
looked healthy, so like maybe Adrian's been taking care of it.
I know.
I don't
Just a
know.
little weird there. And then I don't know, man. I just the punch when the girl starts freaking out where it's like, "Help, daddy. She hit me. She hit me." It's like, "Yo, she was nowhere near you."
That was intense.
It was,
Like,
but I'm like, "Oh, like
so
why
you
would Sorry, sorry.
Well, you would believe it if you just got smacked and you weren't really, like, you weren't really, like, looking, you'd think it was her too.
I
Who else
know.
would it be? Who else would it be?
I
Like,
know, I know, I know, I know. I know, I know. You're right. I think I'm
you're seeing this from, like, I've been watching this from the couch, and I think it's like, no, like, that doesn't count. You gotta put yourself in these characters' minds.
I know.
Um,
No, you're right, you're right.
but one other thing I like that they did too is, like, they made her the Invisible Woman at the end, AKA Susan Storm from Fantastic Four.
She is? Oh, because she has a
No, no,
suit
no,
now?
I'm making a joke. No, but they made she's technically the Invisible Woman now.
She has a
Like,
suit? I mean, yeah.
she's the one. She's now it's not a man anymore, it's a woman. So I thought that was kinda cool, clever as well.
Now, I wanna ask you, Eric, because you're so good at sequel ideas, it's time for Eric's sequel second. I want you to come up with a sequel idea for this movie. It can be anything, just whatever comes to the top of your head based on what you've seen. It's gotta be anything. You can come up with anything, but it has to be something. Come up with a
Okay,
sequel to
okay,
this
okay.
movie.
I
Anything.
really, really don't have one, but here's what I'd like to see. You wanna hear what I'd like to
Yeah, yeah,
see?
that's what we're here for.
Okay, so she's in hiding, like, straight up, like, in her camouflage invisible suit, running away from the she doesn't have to run away, right? She doesn't have to run away because he killed himself, and she's not really on the run, but she should be. Like me, I'm thinking of that. Kevin Bacon, Hollow Man, comes out of the blue, tracks her down, and it's like, "I've heard about you," kind of thing, and they team up as, like, doctors and say, "We gotta take it to the next level and, like, go further into invisibility." I don't know. Stupid. That's such a stupid. I don't really have a sequel idea, but that would make me laugh. Like, bring Kevin Bacon into this somehow. Somehow, I would die.
See, I thought you were gonna say something like this is what I'm thinking, like the dumbest sequel idea, but it's like a director or producer comes to you, he's like, listen, Eric, we're gonna make this fucking movie. We have to make this movie. You have to come up with an idea. It's like it's like it's not gonna be a good one. It's like it doesn't matter. It's going straight to DVD. Just what is it gonna be?
I mean, you could also. I mean, she has this very powerful suit too. You can have her go like, Adrian's done so much bad to the world. Maybe I do good, and she's like the Robin Hood, invisible Robin Hood, and starts like robbing banks for like people that need it and stuff.
Ooh, okay. See that there's something. There's a spark. There's a spark. And
And
then
they start to look back at her case and say like, who else could rob this bank? It looks like someone was invisible, and then they like someone who was on the case is like, I've heard this invisible thing before, and like,
ooh, yeah. And guess who's funding trying to catch her? The parents of Adrian and Tom. They're like, you killed our sons.
okay, bringing in the Big Little Lies kind of season 2 right there. That's kind of
Okay.
similar. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not saying we're not copying people. We are
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
ripping things off. All right, so there's a sequel idea in there somewhere.
Everything is the derivative of another thing,
Oh,
if
I'm
you ask
sure.
me.
So this movie, though, it was filmed actually in Australia, and it looks a lot like San Francisco. They did a good job of making it kind of look like
Mhm. Yeah.
America. Dude, I've actually been to the area where they filmed it. It's called Gerringong, and I remember I stopped there
In
and
Australia, that's sick.
yeah, I stopped and got coffee there. I mean, obviously, I wasn't thinking about anything, but yeah, the guy that directed this, he's Australian, and he's actually the dude who created Saw and the Insidious movies. He's the guy in the basement in the first Saw movie.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he's the guy that like, not obviously not the guy from Princess Bride, but the other guy. That this is him, his directorial, not debut, but his second movie.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so there's some horror lineage going on. That's cool.
Yeah, so he wrote Saw and wrote Insidious, and then he directed a movie like 2 years ago. I can't remember what it's called, but and then this is his second movie that he's directed and written. So
Huh.
like, I think it's good, man. Like the reviews are really good, and I think like I went in there with expectations that were like, dude, this is gonna blow my mind.
Right. Okay, well, I'm gonna say this too. You remember when this came out, right?
Last year.
Like February, which is like the worst time for movies to come out, period, box office wise. So, and no good movies usually come out then. So people are like kind of like, oh, a good movie coming out in February. So they write good reviews. That's my take on it. But also,
Mhm.
I remember when I was out in LA with you and we saw like billboards and I was like, I really want to see that movie. Flew home, freaking pandemic, COVID happens. And I'm like, I'm never going to a movie again. So
And here we are.
I was like, but this was like kind of like, and now we're at not the end of the pandemic, but getting there, really close to it, I hope. And I saw this movie, so it's like kind of like it went from Invisible Man billboard to watch the Invisible Man finally. Only took me a little over a year, kind of, but
Yeah, yeah, I mean, definitely not a bad movie. You're not gonna leave the theater or stop watching this and be like, "This movie fucking sucked," but, like, I don't know, I definitely picked it apart for a lot of just the plot hole stuff. I mean, I kinda
yeah,
called, like, in my mind, like, when she was like, "I've been taking birth control in secret," it's like, he would know, like, if you can't do anything,
yeah.
he would definitely know that.
Yeah, there's a little bit we don't know about. There's a little just missing a couple more. Like we need a little bit more character development. We're
Well,
missing a little bit.
okay, perfect example. If her sister, Emily or whatever, first of all,
Mhm.
that moment in the movie, I was completely shocked is when the throat
Yeah,
got sliced. Like,
that was probably
yeah,
the craziest part of that was like the
yeah,
oh shit
yep.
part of the movie for sure.
Kudos, that was
Got me,
awesome.
got me.
But I wanna say this, that's her sister, that's her best friend or whatever. Dude, if that was you and all of a sudden I got an email from you, it's like, "I wish you were dead, I fucking hate you," like, all this stuff, I'd be like, what the fuck is this, man?" And you'd be like, "What are you talking about?" I'd be like, "Why are you emailing me, like, all this crazy shit?" Like, this girl doesn't even give her a second to let her explain herself.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can always use the Ambien excuse. Just be like, "I was on Ambien." I don't know, man. Like
No, but seriously, like, she's in the doorway like, "I didn't write that." She's like, "Shut the fuck up. Yes, you did."
Right, yeah, I would know. If you sent me a note like that, like, What are you doing?" Like,
Yeah,
like, that's not only your sister, but your best friend who you go to for everything.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, you're having a rough patch between each other, but, like, still,
yeah. You'd be like, "Alec, like, what the fuck is this?"
"Really, dude? You want me dead and stuff?"
Then I'd be
Like
like, "What are you talking about?" You're like, "Did you email this?" "I did not do that." Like, that's exactly how any normal conversation would go between 2 best friends. But it's
yeah.
like, in this movie, it's just like, I don't wanna hear a word out of your mouth. I don't wanna hear anything. Shut up."
Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
Alex
so
going off again.
no, but that's the thing, it's like, that hurts the credibility of the movie for me where it's like, that's so unbelievable that she can't even, like, talk to
Yeah.
her friend.
We're missing those character development
Right.
pieces, we are missing, like, it's like, we just need and it's only 2 hours.
It's a
It's
long
good
movie.
it's a good 2 hours, it's a good 2
It
hours.
is, it is.
I did not feel bored, I
No.
felt the pace was great, but, yeah, I just still feel like I don't even know who Elizabeth Moss's character what she do for a living, like, really, I mean, she's architecture stuff, but I don't know, I just felt like I was missing a lot about her, like, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, it was weird, like that yeah, scene at the interview when the dude's, like, hitting on her so aggressively, I'm like, "Where what the hell is going on?"
Yeah, like, come on, man.
Like, what the hell is going on?
It's
It was just
crazy.
so over the top, I was like, I would hope that people don't do this, but, like, I don't know, maybe
Like,
this
at
is
least give me the job first before you start viciously hitting on me,
it's just
Like,
crazy.
what? Like, right off the bat? Like,
I
we didn't even
know.
sit down or shake hands, like, come on.
I don't know, yeah, so I was just like, "Ugh," I don't know. I think the best part of the entire movie was the fight scenes, though, like, just the choreographed, like, CGI like, obviously,
Yeah.
there was a person in green screen that was fighting with Elizabeth Moss in the kitchen scene, but that
Mhm.
scene was great, like, the way
Yeah.
the table flipped, she got thrown over it, and it's like she was fighting, obviously, with an invisible person. Very cool, I like that a lot.
Yeah. They got the same imagine they got the same exact, like, CGI group from Hollow Man, like, the same people. No, that'd be that's definitely not who knows? Who knows? It's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I've done this before. I'm a pro. Like, I know how to make things invisible and, like, fight." Um,
Well, what would you do if you've had this suit? Let's just say you open your Amazon box in
oh,
the
damn.
morning and the
Oh,
suit's there.
damn.
What's the
Like, I got
first
the
thing you
suit.
do?
I mean, first of all, see if it fits, that thing looks skin tight. What would I honestly do? I I mean, honestly, if we were closer, if you were around me, I'd mess with you so badly. I would just mess with you. Like, obviously, I'd have to, like, fly with the suit. It would get stuck with customs. You're coming back to me or to Connecticut in June. I'd hold on to the suit there. I would mess with you so badly. So badly, dude. That's what I do first, probably. Like, not
Yeah.
rob a bank, like, I don't like, it's just I would mess with you.
Yeah, it's like, obviously, the first couple things you do is probably you'd steal some money because you know you can get
Yeah.
away with it, and then, like, I would dude, think about how easy it would be to just get on an airplane whenever you wanted, be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
get any flight I want and just stand, like, somewhere,"
I
or,
mean, you could sneak, like, backstage and, like, go on stage with Axl Rose and just be like, "Yeah, Axl Rose, we're rocking out," and he doesn't even know you're there,
yeah,
like
you could do, like,
yeah, you can do
anything.
a lot, but then,
Yeah.
like, all of a sudden it starts raining or something, and your suit gets haywire, and all of a sudden it's like this guy in a black suit, like a gimp suit, like, dancing at a Guns N' Roses concert.
Well,
You can do anything with this suit.
I guess
I'm thinking of things. Oh my god, what else could I do?
what if I, like, fucked with you? Like, imagine, like and then dude, how hard would you laugh to be like, "Dude, Shannon and I have to move. There's, like, literally a ghost here," and they're, like, on the phone. I wouldn't be able to keep it together. I'd just be like, "Oh, it sucks, dude."
Oh my god. Oh, there's so much you could do. There's like I'm thinking of messed up stuff
Like,
to do.
think about this. You could go to, like, the best house in the world, like, the house that you want so bad, and just keep convincing the
No.
homeowners that it's haunted until the property value drops so much that you can afford it. You could do that.
Imagine like I like go in the bathroom and just smear an intense amount of shit on the walls, and then you come
Why?
home, you're like, Hunter, what the hell? It's like that wasn't me, dude. Like who else would it be? Like
There's no one here. You could do anything, man. I
you
mean,
could do anything,
you could,
anything.
like, change the world.
But I
Yeah.
definitely wouldn't smear shit on the walls. Like why does my
Yeah, that's, like,
brain
the first
go
thing.
there? Like
No, I mean, I'd probably steal a spider monkey and then, like, get on an
oh
airplane.
dude, I would mess with so many people. I would mess with so many people.
And you could have
Oh,
a lifetime supply of White Claw. You could just go into the liquor
oh,
store, just
easy.
walk out, you
First
know?
thing yeah, that's probably the first thing I did. I think about it.
Yeah, man, it'd be fun. You could go to Disney World just by yourself at night and walk around and just, like, fuck with people. Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What else could you do? What else could you do? I mean, I could just
I
trying to think of
mean,
cool
I
things.
think lowering the property value on a house you want is pretty good. That'd be
That's a good one.
like,
That's a
"We
good one.
can't get this on the market. It's so haunted."
Yeah. All of a sudden, yeah, that's a good call. That's a good
Yeah,
call.
and then you move in, you're like, "I don't it's fine with me, I don't know." Yeah, definitely, like, backstage, you could see what's really going on. Oh, you could go into, like, the jury room at, like, big trials, like could you
Mm,
imagine being, like, the OJ trial, like, in the jury room? Be like, "I know what
yeah,
really happened.
yeah.
How do they get that audio?"
You could be like creepy stalkerish and like go into like I want to see what this guy's up to. Like like when he goes home. Like you could do anything.
I know, I know. Sky's the limit. So, sequel opportunities.
What does Alec do when he goes home by himself? That's what I want to know.
Your coworkers, you get just to be like, "I wanna know
Anything.
exactly what
Anything.
they're like."
What is this person like? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, he just sits down and plays video games. Okay.
So
I'm
much
more
of
like
everything I like.
sneak on stage and like jam out with Axl Rose or like who like I don't even I just picked him, but like anyone and just be like, got to party with him. Like here, look at this selfie, which is like, why is a phone floating? Like
Well, okay, so that
you got to
also
be
brings
careful.
me.
You can't just go to Disney World because if someone bumps into you, they're gonna freak out. And you
Yeah.
can't just go into a zoo and like pet the animals because the animals just gonna like tweak out and just like, like accidentally cut your face
Kicks
open.
you in the head and you
Yeah.
start electrocuting yourself, yeah. But so, alright, so really quick about the phone though in this movie, you'd think that this first of all, there's a camera every 2 inches on your entire body. That thing can't take pictures, you have to have your iPhone with you. But the other thing is, does that mean that the iPhone's floating with him everywhere he goes? Like I'm assuming
Well,
other things don't turn invisible just because he's
well,
touching it.
if he can make himself invisible, I would imagine he can coat physical objects to be invisible as well.
How though?
You'd think that
This isn't
like
like a spray you spray on something, it's like a machine that he built, you know?
well you could like put it on a car, like put that kind of technology on a car, but you probably want to be able to see out of it because it'd be covered.
Yeah, the other
Yeah,
thing is, like, I
yeah,
was thinking when this house got foreclosed, they're like, "Listen, like, Elon Musk shot himself," and they're like, "Well, we need to, like, look through his house to make sure he doesn't
yeah,
have any incriminating evidence on the company." You'd think that would happen, and then you'd think they'd find the suit, you know?
yeah.
Like, how that suit's been sitting there for months. They're like, "Listen, we threw some sheets over the furniture. The place is on the market. It's fine. It's fine."
These cops are like, come on, like these people investigating are
Oh,
just it's a joke. It's a
dude,
joke.
and this to me, Eric, I'm sorry. The fucking Uber driver, are you that scene made me
She
wanna
calls
throw
Uber.
up.
She calls Uber.
She
Yeah.
calls Uber, the guy's like, "Jesus, that's far." They drive however many miles that is until the sun comes up. They get there, it's like, "Listen, will you wait for me? I don't know how long I'll be. 2 minutes, maybe 20, maybe 4 fucking days, but you'll wait for me, right?" And he's just like,
That's not how
sure."
Uber works, honey. You
Yeah.
gotta first, confirm and make sure I'm in the area still. Like,
Then she escapes the guy, Adrian, in the room or whatever, doesn't take the suit, gets it back in the
mhm.
same Uber, and doesn't tell the guy what's going on. And there's no conversation. The guy's not like, "Hey, listen, I've been with you for 6 hours. You're gonna owe me about $1,000. Can you fill me out what the fuck's going on?" That never happens.
I mean, he's an Uber driver. He's like, got my money for the week, but he
No.
also has to head back that way too. So he's probably like jackpot. Like,
Regardless,
I got to go back that way, so now I
Eric,
got 2 trips.
if you're in that situation, you're driving, you wouldn't be like, "Hey, is everything
Yeah,
okay?"
yeah. The thought about, I mean, not to get into Uber, but like, just like, I'm like, I only got like an hour left. Like, I just want to like call it after this, and then you get like some like, hey, drive me to JFK. It's like, oh, dude, that's like 3 hours away. Like, imagine that happened in the movie though. She gets the Uber and he's like, where you going? It's like, no, honey, cancel the request. We're not going
Yeah.
there. Like,
It's like,
that's
"What
what
the
would
fuck?"
normally happen.
Probably. He's like, "I'm not going to Stinson Beach.
Yeah,
Get the fuck
this
out
is
of
gonna be my last drive.
here."
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm ending my night not starting it.
Yeah, out of my Toyota Corolla now.
Mm,
And then all of a sudden she gets murdered. Like, that's another thing I love. It's just like, that's such a modern thing. It's just like you're getting chased by a murderer and you just order Uber.
yeah, and this guy seems like a really renowned scientist. Maybe this Uber driver's like heard of him. He sounds like he would be known, and like he's definitely gonna hear it a week later. Be like, oh shit, that's the lady who
Yeah.
I drove to that house.
That was Elon Musk's house. Holy shit. Like, yeah. So
Oh,
ridiculous. Well,
and now he's dead. It's like, ah, damn. Well,
quick little bit of trivia, I guess, before we wrap up. But that they actually built that house right on the water in Australia, which I thought was pretty cool. Like,
really? Okay.
yeah, that house
It's a,
was.
a real house or is it like a set house?
I think it's a set house that they built
Okay.
for the movie, which I was like, that's pretty cool.
That's neat. That's
Yeah,
neat.
so
Yeah.
I like
No,
that.
it kind of looked like Batman's cave when you go in the basement. Like it felt like Dark Knight almost.
Yeah, it was like beautiful, but it was just like, wow, this is very rich. Whoever has it. Oh,
Yeah.
that's the other thing. I'm like, all right, listen. This guy's like a billionaire. He's only giving his wife 5 million. Like, I mean, look, that's a lot of money, but I'm just saying, like, it's like
Mm.
he unexpectedly kills himself and then only gives him 5 million. It's kind of like that's
It's like, all right, Jeffrey Bezos, you're gonna listen to me right now. Like,
yeah.
like,
I'd be pissed off. I'd be like, you tortured me for years. Like, what the hell is
you
going
know,
on? Anyways, any last minute thoughts on the Invisible Man?
I liked it. I really did. I would say if anyone came up to me and be like, "What are your like favorite recent horror movies?" I'd pick this one. Get Out. I'd pick It Follows is a little older. I like The Witch also. Those are the ones I would say I liked.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
trying
once
to think of other
we
ones, but those, like I would say this movie. I would name this one.
I have a feeling once we get to Hereditary and Midsummer, you're gonna be like,
Okay.
"Okay,
I haven't seen either of
now
those. I haven't seen either of
now
those.
these are good modern horror movies." And this one, not a I didn't not like this movie, but I think again my expectations were too high, and
Mm.
like, the plot holes is what did it for me. I nothing against the acting, nothing against the special effects, nothing against the writing. I mean, no, the writing is the problem, the directing, nothing like that. But there's too many plot holes for me to buy all this.
Yeah, but the plot holes make you think, and that's what's good about it. Keeps
Yeah,
it like ambiguous.
it's ambiguous.
Yeah.
Well, anyways,
Big words for tonight.
yeah, I learned something. Well, you want to spin the wheel, Eric?
Yeah, let's spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. Let's scare Jessica to death.
Yeah. So this have you seen this?
No, I haven't. I
Okay,
haven't.
okay. Buckle up.
Is
Buckle
it
up.
old? Is it like
It is old. It's from
okay?
1971. Buckle up, Buckaroo.
Back it up.
It's a weird one, but I'm excited to hear your thoughts on it.
Me too. Me too. Let's get it going. Let's get it
All
going.
right.
See everyone next week.
Yeah, thanks everybody for listening in, and we'll see everyone next Monday with Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
Woo!